Good morning, our dear professors and colleagues. Thank you for having me here today. We're talking about the transforming growth factor beta 1 in relation to GFR in non CKD elderly. This is our agenda. Let's start. First of all, the TGF beta 1 is a cytokine which takes part in many clinical conditions related to different chronic disease states. TGF beta 1 is involved in the physiological processes associated with growth and differentiation. As we can see, the increased and the accelerated activation of TGF beta 1 affects the cardiovascular system and the kidneys and causing metabolic syndrome. It's worth to say that the CKD is more prevalent in the older population, not only due to the increased albuminuria, but also due to the increased fibrogenesis itself, leading to increased prevalence of fibrotic kidneys. As we can see, the TGF beta 1 causes proliferation of mesangial cells, apoptosis and hypertrophy of podocytes, and finally, extracellular matrix deposition, causing glomerulosclerosis, tubular atrophy, and renal scarring. The high prevalence of CKD in older adults is attributable not only due to the presence of traditional risks such as diabetes and hypertension and cardiac diseases, but also due to the age-related functional changes in the kidneys, such as the arterial stiffness, which remains as a predominant risk factor for the progressive GFR decline in older people. Our aim was to evaluate the serum level of transforming growth factor beta and its relation with the estimated GFR in elderly non-CKD individuals. The study comprised 55 Egyptian individuals aged over 60 years, including 31 males and 24 females, who were recruited at Qasr Al Aini hospitals from 2020 to April 2021. Our inclusion criteria was the age above 60. Our exclusion was hypertension, hepatitis, and diabetes mellitus. All our participants were subjected to informed consent, history taking, clinical examination, and the labs, of course, including kidney function tests, estimation of the serum creatinine and blood urea nitrogen with measurement of GFR using CKD EPI, complete urine analysis and 24-hour urinary proteins, HbA1c, measurement of serum transforming growth factor beta via enzyme-linked immunosorbent assays. Our results showed a good negative correlation between the GFR and the transforming growth factor beta 1 values. This correlation was statistically significant. There was a strong positive correlation between the 24-hour urinary proteins and the TGF beta 1 levels, and it was also statistically significant. There was a good positive correlation between the systolic blood pressure and the TGF beta 1 levels, and it was statistically significant. There was a good positive correlation between the diastolic and transforming growth factor beta 1 levels, which were statistically significant. There was a significant difference between patients with normal systolic blood pressure and elevated systolic blood pressure. There was a significant difference between patients with normal diastolic blood pressure and stage 1 diastolic hypertension in relation to TGF beta 1 serum levels, which were also statistically significant. Okay, transforming growth factor beta 1 has been linked to renal scarring development by promoting the accumulation of extracellular matrix components, and it's increased in different forms of glomerular diseases. Transforming growth factor beta 1 has been associated with to regulate the urinary albumin excretion by increasing the glomerular permeability while decreasing reabsorption in the proximal tubules. Our study showed a good negative correlation between the estimated GFR and the TGF values. Our research also showed a clear positive association between the urinary proteins and TGF beta 1 levels over the 24 hours. According to literature playing a significant role in controlling blood pressure and hypertension production in both animal modules and humans, serum TGF were positively associated with mean arterial systolic and diastolic pressure. On the other hand, Scaglioni found no connection between the serum TGF-beta1 levels and mean arterial blood pressure. Our research found that there was a significant difference between the individuals with normal systolic and elevated systolic blood pressure concerning the TGF-beta1 levels. Also, there was a significant difference between individuals with normal diastolic blood pressure and stage 1 diastolic hypertension concerning TGF-beta1, and this was statistically significant. Not only there is a clear evidence that TGF-beta1 is a central mediator of progressive renal fibrosis, but its also attenuation has been proposed as a therapeutic target in a variety of disease models. It's worth to say that in healthy Japanese adults, serum TGF-beta1 levels tend to be influenced by gender, age, lifestyle factors such as obesity, cigarette smoking, and alcohol consumption. However, Das et al. Reported that gender, age, serum LDH levels were not found to be correlated with the TGF levels. Finally, regarding our results, there was no statistically significant difference in the TGF-beta1 values between males and females, but there was a weak positive correlation between the values and the participants' age, but it was statistically insignificant. In conclusion, this is one of the early introductory researches that measure concentrations of serum TGF to estimated GFR in non-CKD elderly. Our results indicated a significant negative correlation between the GFR and TGF-beta1, and measuring may be a proper diagnostic method for renal diseases. However, our findings are limited by the small number of studied population. The literature's contradictory results must be discussed further in a larger scale studies. Our recommendations are considering serum level of TGF-beta1 as a diagnostic and prognostic tool for renal functions assessment in elderly after implementation of more research in order to fully understand the cut point for diagnosis, confirmation, and the exact relationship with the GFR. Thank you so much. Thank you. I would like to thank my professors, my godfather, Dr. Tariq Fayyad, and my dear professor, Dr. Salwa Ibrahim, and Dr. Sahir Khashab for helping me in this. Thank you so much.